me in my early days as a general rep back in 2008. He's actually been a huge support to me over the past 2 years, and even at the most difficult times. He's always great as well at putting jokes in at times when you think he's being deadly serious. It really makes it more relaxing people. Bob has had a bit of a scary reputation, but we reached a point recently where, in this year, where I came to the horrible realization that in meetings he had become the good cop and I had become the bad cop. I really don't know what that means. So thank you, Bob. I've also, of course, got to thank my fellow sabbatical officers. It's been fantastic to work with you over the past year. You couldn't get a bunch of more different people, but somehow we've been able to get along. Razvan with his general banter, as we've all heard so much about today, and the incredibly loud Adele songs that he likes to play on his earphones. Craig with his football and music chat that I don't often quite understand. And Jess with her fantasies of certain university staff members. If any of you buy me drinks later on, I'll let you know who they are. If you buy me more drinks, I'll just tell them that it's you, so if you're This year wouldn't have been the same without you three, so a huge thank you to you, and I know you've done a fantastic job this year, and I know all the work that you've done will really help you in the future, so thank you. I've of course got to thank the First Lady, Elliot, here. He's been a constant support for me over the past year and a half. He looked after me on election night. He looked after me on election night last year when I was so nervous that I spent most of the evening just shaking and sitting in a bin. If you might remember me, it's the only shape like a coconut. And he put up with me constantly talking about work, bringing work home, and constantly checking my emails on my phone. But that's a skill that I've started to learn, not to do anymore. Although I do check it now and again. So thank you very much. And I also want to say a huge thanks to my family as well, who are here tonight. It's great to see you. And my sister starts the applause. I hope you finally figured out what I do and what the SRC actually is now. I suppose I should say that the biggest thank you, of course, to the students for electing me in these different posts over the last 5 years now. It terrifies me to think how different my life would have been and how different I would have been had I not got involved with the SRC and had I not been elected to these posts, because it teaches you so much being in these positions. Talk about graduate attributes a lot. You do gain so much. I would not have had the courage at all to speak here tonight had I not been involved. Yeah. I remember my first ever heckling meeting when I stood for general rep, and Gavin was chairing it, and I was a shivering wreck.
He was dreadful.
And I also followed Tommy Gore, who is the loudest, most confident person I've ever met. So as soon as he sits down, I'm like, yeah. So I've got over that a little bit. Where am I? I'm completely lost. That wasn't in the script. It's kind of scary to think how, if those 30 people had voted differently, how my life would have been. But I'm just so grateful that I've had a chance to be here and to be able to see all the work that we can do in helping the students. I know next year Sabs will do an absolutely brilliant job, and particularly Jess, I'm just so thrilled that you'll be our next president, and I'm just so sad that I won't be able to share an office with you to see you develop more over the next year, so make sure to send me some photos so I can tell you how to do it better. Which I'm sure Maslow's hand up is. While I'm moving on from this role, I'm sure I'll still, of course, be involved in the higher education sector. In July, I'll be moving on to take up a new post as a policy officer at University of Scotland. So I may see some of you at a committee or a conference in the future, God help you. Despite all the long committees and the paperwork, this role is fantastic. And working at the SRC is probably one of the best jobs you could ever have in your life. I don't know how this can be topped, because you work in an environment with so many friendly people, so many friendly students, and day in, day out you get to make such a difference. Yes, you've got like really boring policy papers, but you've got to look through the fine print and then you can make a difference. That's one example. There's bigger things as well. I'm rambling now, I'm not following the script. You might be able to tell. But yeah, it's just such an amazing environment, and it's utterly thrilling, and I am really sad to be leaving, but it's time, I suppose. Been here long enough. So again, thank you very much to all of you for listening to me babbling on for the last few minutes, and thank you for working with me. It's been fantastic. I hope you all keep in touch with me, follow me on Facebook and Twitter and all that. Yeah, it's been an absolute blast, so thank you very much. I'm like, yeah, thank you guys. I'm going to keep on saying it. No, it's the handover ceremony. So it's that awkward moment where I have to end the speech and do another one. Now I'd like to invite the next year's sabbatical officers to make their way to the end of the room over there. They will hand over our sabbatical robes. So I'd like to invite the new VP Education, Holly Coombs, VP Student Activities, Bethany O'Connor, VP Student Support, Louise Graham, and SRC President, Jess McGrath.
What?